The lights are coming on now. The lights are on, the lights are out, and we are away. Looks like a pretty decent start from Charlie. Got a little bit better launch than Men's, as Kilesko's also had a good start as well. Charlie's going to go down the inside of Men's to turn one, is he? Braking a little bit later, Men's cuts him up a little bit, but it's all well and clean. Charlie trying to hold it round the outside. Men's does open up the corner, give him a little bit of room, but Men's does manage to keep the lead. Great start from Jack as well, up a few positions. As now Charlie can settle in the wheel traps of Men's. Scarborga's not had the best start at all, but it is Men's who leads us away on lap 1. Can Men's break the DRS? I'm going to keep the batteries. There's a yellow flag, and that is carnage in the midfield. As always, we have cars backwards, cars sideways, and just general chaos. Not really sure what on earth's gone on there, but many, many cars have been caught up in it, and that is not ideal whatsoever. Ghosting is on for the first time in Division 2 in a little while this week, but turns out that has not changed anything in terms of racecraft. We are still getting lots of crashes, and yeah, that is not what we want to see lap 1. We've got another car going off. I think that's Moley, must have damage, and yeah, not ideal, but yeah. What it does mean is that F1 QWERTY has gained 8 positions from the first lap. Just mad. As out of all of those, only Wapui and that's it. Has had to pit, so interesting. As Clock and Danny D are battling it out, and Clock has come off worse and has lost the position to the Aston Martin behind him. Let's have a look back to the top 2. Men's got a bit more battery than Charlie, as Charlie makes a massive mistake. Charlie has made a massive mistake at the Della Roja chicane, and that has cost the position to Kilesko. And that is really, really going to be helping Men's, because that's going to help him pull away that 1 second gap, as Charlie looked to have it under control, but Adrian's lost it as well. As is the VSC, I think. I think that's a VSC. Not really sure why that's been called, because Adrian had literally just lost it, hadn't even lost his wing, but they called it a VSC. Anyone going to choose to pit under this VSC? I highly doubt it, there's not really much point. This could catch a few people out in terms of speeding. That is the key thing, you don't want to go over your delta under the safety car. As F1AB QWERTY has... I don't know what he's doing. Let Adrian go? What? What are they... Oh, Adrian did lose his way. Why is Adrian out? What? I'm so confused. Someone who's in a party with someone who's in the race, fill me in. Charlie's got past Kilesko as well at the end of the VSC period. What's going on here? Charlie's had to get the place back as well. Confusion. Anyway, Men's leads. Yellow flag and set to 2. That is F1AB QWERTY, who's gone. Having a pretty eventful race so far. There's now Scarborga overtakes SLR Jack into Scary. SLR Mash making the move on Adrian, who doesn't have his front wing and didn't pit under the VSC. Interesting decision making here as now Golden Egg Fryer Moley, LSW Legend battling it out. Golden Egg Fryer loses quite a lot of time. Alpha 6 as well. Legendary Danny D. Probably got an illegal overtake apparently, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But this overtake's not going to be illegal though. Down the inside. Gives a lot of room. They're giving a lot of room to each other there. That is very respectful racing. Absolutely rinsing both of their batteries there, Charlie and Kilesko. And the battle for P2. Charlie, can he hold it up? Yes, he can. As now Scarborger and SLR Jack going side by side. SLR Jack goes very aggressive. He saw Scarborger backing out and took advantage of that and was very, very aggressive, making sure that he got to the apex of the corner, but doesn't have DRS on Kolesko. That's going to be quite important, because obviously with Scarborger behind him, he's going to want as many tools as he can to defend that. Kolesko thought about a move on Charlie. Thought better of it. But it looks like these four are going to be in a bit of a train together now. Because Kolesko, in backing out, has lost a lot of time. Scarborger behind. All aboard the Charlie train, P2. Here it is. Not that kind of Charlie train. But yeah. Jack's as far to slap in the race. On board with Kolesko now. Absolutely flying past SLR Charlie. DRS very, very powerful at this track. And what can Charlie do against that? At the moment, not much. The Scarborger's got an excellent run on Jack. Is he going to try and make the move here in the second chicane this time? Jack going very defensive. Scarborger doesn't really... He kind of just didn't really realise where to go, left or right. Anywhere, and... he just has to settle behind. There's lap 5 now, and JD Men's bit of a big lead. So it looks like it is going to be Men's, as it stands, taking the victory, but we have an excellent battle for P2 behind him. Kolesko's not broken away from Charlie, so it does look like they have a relatively similar pace. So this battle for P6 is still going on. Sotia Clock has joined that as well. Obviously losing out due to Adrian. Who I'm still not sure why he hasn't pitted with the wing damage, but... as now he lets GoldenEye for a go. As now Charlie makes them move back ahead in P2. Oh, as Jack is tapped Kolesko round. Kolesko has been spun by SLR Jack. Carried a bit too much speed through that corner, and that's going to allow Scarborger through now. The Scarborger SLR Jack going side by side. I don't think he meant that. That was just an unfortunate tap, and he's trying to hold it around the outside of Scarborger. Oh, they make a bit of contact. This is a bit of wall banging, bit of Robbins racing, and SLR Jack fights his way back through. That's going to allow Kolesko to catch back up, I think, as well. Thankfully, with the spin, only loses a couple of seconds. That is, of course, partly because of Jack and Scarborger battling. Has allowed Charlie to get clear, though, of course. And that could be quite important for Charlie's race. A little bit less pressure, a little bit of a chance to save ERS. Oh, his netbook doodle has gone. Don't know whether we reset a track there, actually. I'm not 100%. I'll have to have a look back on that on stream. He had a spin, anyway, and... goes back on track, and... thankfully for the ghosting, does not affect anyone. As now this battle for P3 is still raging on. Scarborger, we know from qualifying, has a lot of pace. But at the moment, Jack looks like he's got arguably more race pace than Charlie. Ooh, Scarborger has a bit of a wobble there. And that's going to allow Kolesko back in. And Scarborger's lost the DRS on Jack as well. Has he got it back? No. It's really ebbing and flowing, this battle. Really, really ebbing and flowing, this battle for P2, 3, 4, 5. They are kind of in their own little world, so they can afford to lose time scrapping each other. And that just makes things more exciting for the viewers. That's what we want. I think Scarborger is potentially going to be losing P4 this lap. And with the spacing out, could open up for Kolesko to maybe properly fight his way back. Scarborger is going to pit early. It's a really early stop from Scarborger because with that tyre warm-up phase, sure the mediums will have dropped off a bit, but that tyre warm-up phase on the hards will be extremely janky, and I'm not so sure whether this is the right decision, but going for it. Spotted a nice clean bit of track. And let's see how this first corner is for the Aston Martin driver. It's fine to me. He needs to be kind of weaving all over the place to warm up those tyres here on the straight. That's what I'd be doing. Does it a bit before the braking zone. And yeah, at the moment though, not really sure that undercut's going to work. If I was these top guys, I'd just stay out more. I'd just stay out longer. There's no need to cover off really what Scarborger has done. The mediums will still be good for a decent bit of time. And then obviously he'll have the fresher tyres at the end of the race. He's saying two-stop, Evo. No, he's not going to be on a two... No way is he going to be on a two-stop. No. Two-stop loses way too much time. Any situation on this game. Two-stop would be an awful strategy. If you're going to be on the two-stop, then you put on the mediums as well, surely. Or the softs, because the hards are so much worse than the mediums on this game. Now, Scarborger will be going to the end there. It's just... I think he's just gone too early. I think he's just going to lose a lot of time near the end of the race. He's going to lose a lot of time due to tyre warm-up now, and he's going to lose a lot of time near the end of the race when his tyres drop off a bit. It's... Yeah, I'm not convinced on that strategy call, but I guess he has to try something different and see if it works. As JD Menz at the moment looks like he's got it under control. The others behind him are beginning to concertina up a little bit. They were in a decent bit of a train, and I'm sure they're going to be getting into a train very, very shortly. Could be decided on pit stops, this. Radar 124.2. Jack was slightly quicker than Charlie, and Kolesko was a bit quicker than Jack. As F1 AB QWERTY and Net McDoodle battling side by side for final points paying position. QWERTY goes into the pits. Speeds into the pit lane. Oh, as Danny D's tapped the back of Mash. Kolesko's got back in the DRS of Charlie. Of Jack, sorry. Yeah, that's not ideal, the speeding in the pit lane for F1 AB QWERTY. Will lose a bit of time because of that. When it comes to the end of the race, especially if there's a safety car. As the yellow flag in sector 2, who's that? That's the Aston Martin of Net McDoodle. I thought that would be Scarborger for a second there, but nope, it's his teammate. So that's the second time that he's lost it. Second Aston Martin driver. What Scar's going to hope is that his teammate doesn't hold him up here, because it's a very, very important phase of his race, being on the hard compound tyre, as the others are going to be pitting very, very shortly. In comes SLR Jack, off of those hard compound tyres. Off of those mediums, sorry, onto a set of hard compound tyres it'll be. And here's key. Where will he come out relative to Scarborger? He's going to have to do the quite disgusting tyre warm-up phase himself, as Scar's teammate lets him go. But look at that, the undercut has not worked, but Scar is going to gain an awful lot of time whilst Jack gets his tyres warm. And this is really or what he was banking on, is having those tyres already warm for a few laps, and then closing in on SLR Jack and getting that track position. The hards, yeah, they are going to drop off a bit, but not massively, so it could work out, but he really needs DRS here, whilst Jack's tyres are still cold. Is going to get that. So now this is going to provoke Charlie Kolesko to come into the pits. Menz can kind of pit whenever he wants because he's got a nice little buffer. The guys behind him. And here we are, Charlie into the pits now. Kolesko staying out. Yeah, I think that's a smart call from Charlie, just covering off what Jack is doing. And Jack could easily lose time battling with Scarborger here as well, which is key, as they're also approaching a bit of traffic, so eventually affect them. So we are, Scar rinsing his battery. He's got absolutely nothing left though. So it's Charlie. Where's he coming out? He's coming out side by side with Moley. And he's got a couple of cars between him and Scarborger and Jack. So that's really, really crucial for Charlie, but he does have Moley ahead of him. And so that's going to be potentially a bit dodgy, especially whilst he's trying to heat up his tyres. But he does have that car between him and Jack. Very important. The car being Adrian. But Charlie does have a lot of battery to play with as well. Really needs to get past Moley. End of this lap, really. Otherwise, Jack and Scarborg are going to be all over him. See Scar's lights flashing. Showing his low on ERS as the top two come into pit. And this could get really messy here. It's Kolesko. It's going to be coming into the pits, but look at this train behind Moley. It's absolutely massive. Charlie is going to be able to get past Moley at the start of this following lap. The others come behind Adrian, and they're still not passing him. So this is just crucial. It's really making them lose time as Charlie slips through. But Kolesko's there as well. And oh no, this is going to get really messy. Jack goes incredibly deep. Going to have to rejoin the track safely, and does so. And now Scarborger is now ahead of him. But we now have Kolesko, who's out in the pits on his newer tyres, but crucially his cold tyres. He's going to lose so much time here as we're looking at Scarborger trying to get past him. So really, this is the optimal moment for him, I would say. As when Kolesko's tyres warm up, he will be quicker with that 5-lap tyre freshness compared to Scar's. But at the moment, still stuck behind Adrian. That's going to allow Scar to get a brilliant run on him. These two, of course, losing time to Charlie through this as well, as Adrian is being a bit of a bus. Oh, Scar nearly rear-ends him as well. Kolesko's already been rear-ended once this race. I don't know if we want to do it again. But he really needs to be losing quite a lot of battery here, I would say, because he needs to make this position on Adrian and on Moley, because they're losing far too much time here at the moment. He's trying it round the outside of Adrian. Adrian leaves in the room, and Kolesko makes the move. F1 AB quietly loses it in the final corner. Struggling there in third for Alboreto. Pui also loses it. So the newer drivers having an extremely rough time with it. Oh, Scarborger still can't get past Adrian. This is going to allow Jack to maybe get back past him. Adrian's still fighting his position really hard. There's now Jack down the inside of Scarborger. Oh, that's aggressive. And he makes the move. It's fair cop, I think. Jack extremely aggressive, but it pays off for him. He now sails past Adrian through Curva Alvaretto. And Adrian's still not pitting. Just comes straight back at him. They're going to be wondering, why are you fighting this so hard? And still, we can't back past him as Jack's being tagged himself. So he tagged Kolesko earlier on in the race, and then he gets tagged himself by Scarborga. So that's going to be a penalty coming Scarborga's way as well. And so we have a couple of penalties, I'm sure, after this race so far. Plus whatever went on lap 1. Yeah, interesting. But now it's settled down. Look at the lead that Charlie has over Kolesko. Men's still very, very comfortable, of course. Charlie's got a massive gap. Oh, it's Legends out! Legends crash. Is that going to be a safety car? Is that going to be a safety car? Legendary Danny D will be praying for one. I'm kind of praying for one. And we've got one. We do have a safety car. Hello, hello. Here we go. Legendary Danny D is going to get a free pit stop onto a set of medium compound tyres. Does Men's pit? No, he stays out. Claiming that track position. Does Charlie come into the pits behind Danny D? Is he going to do it? Yes, he is. Kolesko's staying out. Moley obviously coming into the pits because he had to anyways. But quite a few people coming into the pits actually. Interesting. This is a massive mix of strategies. This is a massive mix of strategies. So Legendary Danny D suddenly is up there in P4 on a fresh set of boots, fresh set of mediums. Ready to hunt down the top 3. Charlie's taken a risk with strategy as well, going onto a set of mediums. But wow, this is really interesting. I like that call from Charlie. I like that call from Charlie because, I mean, what's he got to lose in the championship at this point? Really, like, got to try something different to Men's because if you're on the same strategy as Men's, you're not going to close up to him. Try something different, bit of a risk. Only put himself back to P5 as a lot of others have obviously pitted for a set of mediums. And yeah, but here we go. Safety car bunches things up. Janie Menz had a massive lead, and that's been completely wiped out. Kolesko and SLRF1 have chosen to stay out, with the others behind of Danny, Charlie, Moley, Scar, Clock, Adrian, Golden Egg Fryer, Mash, McDoodle, QWERTY, Preds, WPUR, equal Pooey, whatever weird gamer tag. All on fresh sets of mediums. Or softs, or hards. We're ready to close in on the top 3 who have stayed on their hards. That is spicy end to this race is what that is. Very, very exciting end to this race. LSW Legend is a legend for making this race interesting with the safety car. As what also makes this race interesting is that Scarborg has gone on to a set of softs. Now, I'm not entirely convinced of that. They'll be really, really quick on the restart, but they'll be absolutely nowhere when it comes to tyre performance at the end of the race. Really, you can get about 7 or 8 usable laps out of them, and then they're much slower than the mediums. So to go all of that distance that Scar is considering going on them is very, very risky. I'm not sure if it'll work, but anyway. So yeah, predictions in the chat of how this race is going to end. All I know is this race is going to end with me eating some popcorn. So, yeah. I will just wait for some of those to get in, and yeah, see who gets them right, see who gets it wrong. See who's predicting what. Charlie win. Yeah, rear wing damage, can't unlap yourself. That is, yeah, you can't unlap yourself under safety car on the F1 game. Yeah, that's unfortunate. If your rear wing is damaged, I'd be careful. Obviously, make sure you let everyone go after the restart. Most importantly, if you let them go before. If you let them go before the line, then they'll get an illegal overtake on you, which won't be ideal, but yeah. If I were you, I'd have personally pitted before to make sure that you're not in the train interrupting anyone else, but yeah. Gotta be a bit careful. Safety car coming in this lap. Let's here we go. Is Ogwin going to be right with a Charlie victory? Who else is going to be right? Let's see. Journeyman's warming up the tyres. We're ready for this restart. And he needs a really good restart here, Menz. Really good restart. Because the others are going to be bearing down on him on those medium compound tyres. Slowing it right down as Menz needs to catch them unawares. Jack obviously does have that bit of a gap because of Kilesko, so he's going to be very wary. Now here we go, onto the restart. Legendary Danny D right behind Jack. Making the move on those fresh medium tyres. It's happening already. Legendary Danny D moving his way up into the podium position, is he? Oh, but they make contact! And is Charlie affected by that as well? Oh, they're so close. Oh, as Jack lost it, loses it. Jack's off. Jack has spun. And I wonder whether Charlie potentially has damage from that as well. But Jack drops all the way down to 14th. So now Kilesko's hunting down the driver of Jaylee Menz, and they've got a big gap over Danny D now. Can he close in? Can Charlie close in? Can Moley close in? It's really interesting here. But Kilesko is staying with Menz, so he could have a fight despite... So we could have a bit of a fight despite the others losing so much time, but wow, that is really interesting. Scarborger is going to try and get past SLR Moley. Moley gets all out of shape out of Ascari. Scar shooting his way past, looking at it from on board. Softy o'clock. Is he going to have a go at Moley as well? Maybe. Moley doesn't really seem to have the pace here, unfortunately, despite being up into that top 5 position. Use the safety car. As Clock flies past him as well. Adrian's been quick and straight all time. Oh, as Kilesko around the outside of Menz brakes very late into turn 1. Can he make that move? They give each other just enough room. And oh no, don't do that. Don't unyak yourself like that. That's ridiculous. Mapui in the Mercedes is unlapping himself, ghosting through the cars ahead of him. That's really bad. You don't want to do that. Needs to get out of the way. He needs to get out of the way really as soon as possible, because he's absolutely just... He's distracting their races massively. He's gonna... Yeah, that's not ideal. Yeah, Jack has a sinker as well, though, and I agree. Not ideal at all. But yeah. Blue flags are flashing. Get out of the way, mate. Get out of the way. I know it's ghosting, but get out of the way. It's... yeah. It's really frustrating, this. when someone's going through people when they're a lap down. But anyway, he does set the fastest lap of the race whilst at it, but you are a lap down, so yeah. It's towards the midfield. See, potentially a move for P10 here. Mash is on those softs, having pitted quite early. Oh, as Maduda goes a bit deep, has to cut the first chicane. Goes slowly back on track to avoid a penalty, loses the position to Mash. As finally the Mercedes does let all the drivers through. Better late than never. And Danny D's closed up on these two whilst they've been battling as well. So here we are, we're going to have a multi-car fight for P1. The RS is not enabled yet. Is it enabled? I'm not sure. Let's have a look. Is it enabled? Yes, it is. Kalesko does have DRS on Janie Menz. And now this is when it gets spicy. Danny D is going to join the party as well. And we are going to have potentially as much as a 6-way fight for P1. This is what we want to see. Menz does get an excellent run at the final corner. But Kalesko's got a lot more battery. Oh, it's the yellow flag, and Danny D's lost it. Danny D has lost it. And there's yellow, that's a VSC for his spin. Don't know whether he and Charlie picked up damage. I think they're fine. But wow. VSC, so who's going to judge this VSC restart right as well? But Danny D, from being in a really, really strong position, closing in on those fresh tyres, has just completely dropped it out of the final corner, out the curve of Alboreto, and is now completely out of this race. Well, out of contention for it anyway. Drops down into P11, and the best he can probably hope for is to score 1 or 2 points if others ahead also make mistakes. So now we're going to be getting going very, very shortly, I imagine. These drivers are anticipating a restart, looks like. And here we are. We're now back away. And they are right in amongst each other. Right in amongst each other. Charlie is just about going to have DRS. As Mash picks up another penalty. Charlie gains a lot through the corner. But Kalesko is the main one to look at. Behind Janie Menz. He's not wasting any time. Going down the inside of the Ferrari man. Janie Menz lacking in straight line speed severely there, and he takes the lead. As Kalesko 7/10 clear already. Absolutely flying here. But what can these drivers on those fresher mediums, on those fresher softs do? Menz absolutely attacking that Della Roger chicane. Wants to get back at Kalesko. He's been so quick from the majority of this race. But now suddenly after the safety car, really struggling as Menz. And he's going to perhaps have to look behind him more than ahead. Because Charlie is absolutely gunning for him. He knows how important this result is if he wants to have any shot at the championship. Really, if he wants any shot. The ideal result he has is winning and Janie Menz being lower than second. As the yellow flag, and that is Pui from a lap down. So we don't really care too much about that. But here we are. Menz, can he get another run on the McLaren? And can Charlie get a run on Menz? Here he is. 4 laps to go. Menz, is he going to have a dive? Of course he is. Down the inside. And they're going side by side through turns 1 and 2. Side by side. Charlie gets a really good run on Menz. They're going to go side by side through the cover. So Men's fighting back, was looking at third, now looking at first. Round the outside as they make contact. They do make contact, and Men's has lost the position. As now Sotia Clock is going to go side by side with him as well. Men's, from fighting for P1, is now all of a sudden down to P4. He's down to P5. Men's absolutely dropping like a stone. Scarborger getting the elbows out, and here comes Adrian. Here comes Adrian, up through, into P5, into P4. Even he's going side by side with Men's here. And wow, what a few corners we've just had there. Adrian does not give Men's any room at all. Oh, and Adrian's out. Adrian is out. JD Men's is sideways. He's got damage, and there's a safety car. There's a last lap safety car here. And what do these guys do? Adrian is out of the race after contact with Men's. Men's has dropped down all the way to P8, and he might have damage from that as well. In fact, I think he probably does. What do? Charlie stays out. Scar's pitting. Men's obviously has to pit. He has to pit with his damage. Wow, that is... Ooh. Content. As Jack gets a penalty under safety car. Yeah, Men's does have to change his wing. Wow, Adrian out of the race after contact with Jaylee Men's. It looked from my perspective like Adrian did not leave Men's enough room at the entry of Ascari. It's a difficult one, but to me it did look like Adrian did not leave Men's enough room, and so that is why the incident happened, in my view. But yeah, a late safety car here. And SLR Moley suddenly in P6 on fresh softs. Gone for it. And all of a sudden, we have another really close race. Nice voice crack. I'm 22 while I'm still having voice cracks. But wow. Safety car in this lap as well. Safety car in this lap already, of course. Of course. It's only a one-lap safety car because there has to be 2 clear laps. And so can these guys catch the safety car? That's the important thing as well. They've gone for that pit stop, but can they catch it? JD Menz, I'm not sure he's going to. I think Moley will, though. And Moley's going to be on very, very heated up tyres, whereas the others are going to have lost all that temperature. So we are Moley, Scarborger, Danny are just about going to catch up to the safety car, as Kolesko's doing a very, very controlled restart. He's now gone. And Charlie looks like he's been caught up in a bit by Sotia Clock as well. So here we are, Charlie and Clock going side by side into turn 1. Clock breaks very late. Can Charlie hold it up the inside? They make contact. And Clock muscles his way through. Oh, but he loses it on exit. Clock loses it on exit. Now Preds is in P2. Preds is in P3 and Moley on his fresh tyres in P4. Could be anyone's game here. Now Net McDoodle goes through, and Prez is up into P2. As Moley has made the move on Charlie. Wow. Incredible stuff. Sotia Clock spins it on his own. He did make a bit of contact with Charlie, but the Sotia Clock does manage to spin it just on his own after that contact. And that is gutting stuff for him. The Galesko leads this race by 2.5 seconds because of that. And despite being on the only person on the hard compound tyres, has managed this extremely well and is looking really, really good here for P1. Charlie is going to have to get past his teammate on the final lap here, but he's going to have Moley and Scarborger on those fresh softs, hunting him down. It's Clock and QWERTY are battling it out as well, side by side with Ricardo Alboreto. As here we are, here comes SLR Charlie. Is he going to dive it on his teammate? Menz sets the fastest lap of the race. It's an extra point for his championship bid. And Menz is now closed up to this train as well. So Menz could still get a few decent points out of this as well. So Charlie now really does have to pass his teammate. He's thinking about it. Into the De La Roja chicane. Preds is going to leave him space. And that is an excellent move for Charlie, up into P2. So now it's Preds versus Moley versus Skarborger for the final podium spot. Preds somehow, through all of this, usually manages this in chaotic races. Started quite low down. He's finding himself in with a shot of a podium, but Moley is in with a shot of a podium as well. Preds has absolutely no ERS left, and so they're going to go side by side through Ascari. Who's going to brake later? Oh, Preds doesn't quite leave him enough room. But thankfully, they're both alright from that. But that's going to give Skarborger a massive run. They're going to go 3 wide into the final corner, are they? Moley does get past Preds. Preds just doesn't really have the grip here on his older tyres. He's still trying to hold it around the side by side with Skarborger. Oh, the yellow flag further behind. But it is Kilesko who wins the race. Then Charlie, then Moley, then Skarborger, then Preds, then legendary Danny D, then Sosia Clock, then Menz, Bertie and McDoodle make out the top 10. Wow. And of course there will be stewards' inquiries after that race. But it is Kilesko claiming the victory. As for the championship, that is a 13-point swing, I make it. So the gap is now less than a race win between the top two. Well, what a race that was. Really unpredictable. And it is Kilesko who wins it. He was one of the ones who did get spun. I don't think he did any of the spinning himself, so I think he'll be safe with that victory. I think that is your podium. Kilesko, Charlie, Moley. What a podium that is. What a race. Moley has been given the driver of the day in-game. And I have to say, that strategy call alone onto the softs, which had clearly worked for him. And that last lap overtake, definitely up there, Moley, as a contender for driver of the day. What a race that was, though. Kilesko, the only one doing a one-stop other than Adrian. Of course, he retired. And yeah, it worked for him. Stayed out, got the track position. Charlie and others behind had some chaotic battling, as shown by those gaps. 3.9 behind Charlie was, so he had a bit of a gap to Moley, but then Moley all the way down to P7 for 1.7 seconds. Of course, Clock was in the battle for the podium as well. So what a race. That is all we got time for. Good night.